Hello, hello, and welcome to our Community Care Somatics class. Somatics is all about body-based practices to support our well-being. And I think nervous system regulation is a big buzzword right now. But somatics is a little more than nervous system regulation. We also work with vagal toning practices, the fascia, our breath, our intention to create a sense of ease, well-being, resilience, and flexibility in our nervous system. So I'm going to start by talking about our fascia. Our fascia is the connective tissue that kind of forms and keeps the structure of our body together. And our fascia is what starts to create a little tightness, tenderness, a little bit of stickiness. So when we start to work with our fascia, we create a little more openness, a little more mobility, and we start to feel more and more like ourselves. So that's one part of somatics and the work that I do working with the fascia. Another part is working with vagal toning practices. So vagal toning practices support our vagus nerve, and our vagus nerve is a seventh cranial nerve, and it runs down through the neck, in through the face. It's very rich in the face. It runs down through our neck, down through our torso, all the way down into our internal organs. And our vagus nerve is responsible for communicating information from the gut to the brain, from the brain down to the gut. It does play a part in our parasympathetic nervous system, and sometimes if we've been holding stress a really long time in our jaw, in our neck, in our shoulders, in our body, we are unable to really tap into the wisdom, and the vagus nerve gets a little stuck. So today we're going to combine a few of the different practices that I work with in somatic therapy. Also, the eyes are a big part. So the eyes are the only part of our nervous system and our brain that's outside of the body. And I find that really, really fascinating. So working with the eyes can really help to open our perspective to see even more. And sorry, I'm just going to highlight myself real quick. Thank you all for joining in. It's so good to see everybody. And so once again, an overview of somatics is really working with the body and different systems within the body to support our well-being, to support resilience and flexibility in our nervous system. So many people today are experiencing more stress than ever. They're experiencing more anxiety and even shutdown and depression. So somatics helps bring a sense of regulation where we can become more resilient and more flexible in our nervous system and respond appropriately. So to begin, we'll work with a physiological sigh. I call this breath a reset breath. It's just easier to say than the physiological sigh. But it's scientifically proven to help reduce our blood pressure, lower our stress levels. It's something we naturally do throughout the day, and it's a tool that we can walk away with that helps us calm and center. So usually we need 2 to 5 of these breaths. It's a double inhale through the nose and a longer audible sigh. We'll do a few rounds together if you'd like. And take a double inhale. And then you can almost see and feel your body starting to decompress. We'll take another few rounds. Good. As you're exhaling, imagine or pretend that all of your stress and worries can just leave for this 30 minutes that we're together. Maybe one more time. A long sigh like you just landed in your vacation spot. Settling into your body. Good. And then I invite you to notice, sense, feel. Can you notice any subtle shifts in your energy just from doing 3, 4, 5 of those breaths? As we begin to heal and de-stress and unwind, we really want to start looking for those tiny shifts in awareness. So as we start noticing the subtle ways that we're relaxing and calming down, we're also then able to start to notice the subtle ways that we start getting a little more elevated or wound tight. And so we can start to tend and care for ourselves when we need to. Becoming more aware of our experience and how we respond is a big part of our healing work. Next, we're going to get into some movements, and I just want to remind you that this is all voluntary, that we want to move slow, and you can always pause, stop, take a break, just watch, do whatever feels good for you in your body. And as we do get to some of the movements, it can feel a little uncomfortable, a little like we're moving towards our edge of safety, and that's okay, but we don't ever want to move to where we're feeling sharp shooting pain. So we also start to really distinguish the difference between pain and being uncomfortable. Now, when you're ready, if you would like to join in, we're going to send the chin down towards the chest. And we're going to slowly start to make U-like shapes with that chin and the mouth, as if we could bring it down towards the center, slowly up and over one side. And begin to notice how this feels in the side of the neck, the top of the traps. Do you feel it anywhere else? And it's very normal to have sharp shooting, it's very normal to have snap, crackle, pops. And that's just things moving back into place, tension releasing. And usually we can hear it ourselves, but someone next to us wouldn't be able to hear it. Good. All right, we're going to slowly move the head back to neutral. Try to keep the chin parallel with the ground. Try to keep the head facing directly in front of you, and move just the eyes way over to the left. Maybe you can even stretch the eyes to look towards the upper left side and the lower side. And then how far out to the side can you look? And notice the breath. Are we breathing here? And then slowly come back to center. Notice what that's like. I know I get a lot of sensation in my brain and my neck, like deep in my head. And what we're doing is creating space for the vagus nerve to be able to communicate top to bottom, bottom to top. All right, next side, keep the face directly pointing straight ahead, and then turn the eyes to look just to the other side. And then maybe we begin to see how up to the right side we can look, or how far down to the right side we can look. Maybe how far way out to the right can we look, stretching, stretching. Sometimes your mouth might water, you might want to yawn. Those are all good signs. And slowly come back to the center. Take a moment to notice what that feels like. Can you notice a change in sensation anywhere in the body? And then we'll take another reset breath, that double inhale. A lot of our work when we're healing is actually going slower and doing a little bit less. We want to create a little more space in our mind, space in our body, space in our life to have a little more time to just decompress and settle, remove the heaviness of pressure in our lives. Good. All right, we're going to add on to the next vagal toning practice. So we'll begin by bringing the chin down slightly towards the chest and then moving right ear, right shoulder. Slowly coming back through the center, sending left ear, left shoulder. Back again to the other side. Now this time, can we really roll the opposite shoulder and kind of hug it down closer to the ground? Now we're going to take our eyes and can we move them to look out the corner of the eye to look down towards the ground, stretching the eyes again down towards the ground. And then what about stretching the eyes towards the other corner of the eyes, towards the upper corner of the room? And then maybe down again towards the ground. It's normal to get little opening, stretching in the ears, in the mouth. One more breath here. And slowly start to come back to center. Notice what that feels like. Can you notice a subtle difference side to side? All right, we'll bring the chin down slightly. We'll send the opposite ear to the opposite shoulder. And now we're going to roll that opposite shoulder up, back, and down. We want to create more of a stretch and length between the trap and the neck. Let the tissues and body settle in here for a moment. And then we'll add our eye stretching. Can we take our eyes to look way down towards the ground while the neck is stretching? And then can we take the eyes to look way up towards the ceiling above us? And then one more time back towards the ground, corner of the eyes. And then slowly unwind and come back to center. All right. Notice what happened in your body. Did you get any popping in the ears? Did you get want to yawn or a stretch in the jaw? Was the mouth watering? All of those are very good signs. So when we've held a lot of stress in our body for a long time, one of the ways that we start to discharge stored stress is through yawning. And it's like our body's just naturally creating more space in the jaw and the neck, deep inside the body. Even a fake yawn sometimes can turn into a real yawn. Maybe you'd like to try a couple fake yawns. Another way that we start to release this stored stress is through laughing, through crying, through tremoring or shaking. One of the ways that I provide somatic therapy is with TRE. It's called trauma release exercises. And it's where we get our body to do its natural tremoring, which feels like a quiver, a shiver, or sometimes a little even more stronger sensation in the body. Well, I usually do this after a few sessions together to train people how to get their own natural tremoring response to go, and so that they could add it into their weekly routine. It's a really gentle, therapeutic body-based practice that helps us discharge stress. So if you ever get so upset or shooken up that your body is shaking, naturally we try to stop it, but it is good to kind of let that stress response complete, like let the tension shake out of the body. A vibration plate is another great resource to get all the tissues in the body to wake up. So if they have one at your gym or you have one at home, it's great. It's a great tool to use as well. All right, I invite you just to check in for a moment, see how you're doing. Notice what your breath is like. Can you notice, do you naturally just breathe to the very bottom of the neck or top of the chest? And think about, we can really breathe all the way down into the belly. And when our breath is a little deeper, a little slower, it starts to slow down the mind and it starts to become easier to be present and focused. Well, a few rounds, I invite you to kind of take a deep breath in, second breath into the ribs, third breath into the belly, and then a longer, slower exhale through the mouth or nose. Allow all of the air to come out. Now, this breathing practice is teaching us how to expand our breathing capacity. So take an inhale, breathe into the chest, take a second one into the ribs, take a third one into the belly, and then take a full exhale. Allow your whole body, all of your lungs to release any breath, any air. Most of us tend to hold on to some of our breath. We don't ever let ourselves fully exhale. And it's really important for us to get a few full exhales when we can. One more time, 3 breaths in, breathe into the chest, expand it to the ribs, expand it to the belly, and a full exhale. Good, you're doing so good. All right, let's start to work with our shoulders. We're going to do one shoulder at a time. Can we explore the range of motion in our shoulder by rolling the shoulder up, back, down, and forward? Up, back, down, forward. Now, try to start to make it smooth, kind of like a can of food. You know, we're not robots. We're not looking for perfection, but instead of that 4 direction, we're just trying to make it a little smoother. Maybe 3, 2, last one. Good. And then take a breath, take a moment. I think what I love most about somatics and the type of yoga that I teach is that we're not trying to accomplish anything or get somewhere. We're really just looking to connect with our body, to take breaks, to take pauses, to create a little more space for ourselves. Now we'll move the other way. Can we go up, forward, down, and back? Up, forward, down, and back. And then we'll try to make even that movement a little more smoother. About 3 more times going around. And it's so good to work one shoulder at a time because then we can really notice the difference side to side. And then just take a moment. This is functional movement. A lot of the times I offer like a joint freeing series, chair yoga, or even in my therapeutic yoga classes, I do a lot of joint freeing and in my somatic therapy sessions, because when we're stiff in our joints, we naturally are stiffer in our mind. We're a little more stubborn or not that flexible with dealing with other people. So as we create more space in our joints, in our body, we create more space in our mind. Other side, we're going to roll that shoulder up, squeeze it up, send it back, send it down, send it forward, up, back, down, forward, up, back, down, forward, and then try to smooth it out, trying to make it the same pacing, the same speed for 3, for 2, and 1. Good. Maybe you noticed a difference from one shoulder to the other. Maybe one moves a little smoother. So if you have a side that moves smoother and a side that's a little more challenging, maybe you do the side that's a little more challenging 1 or 2 extra times to start to even it out. And then we'll move in the opposite direction where we're going up, back, down. And then try to make these ones smooth, using the same pacing, really getting a full mobility in our shoulder. There's a condition called frozen shoulder where sometimes our shoulders get locked up. And so this is one practice that's really helpful. And we just carry a lot in our shoulders. Our shoulders can represent the way that we carry the weight of the world. So let's come back to center. Good. We're going to move back to that other side. So can we really hug the shoulder down, down, down? And then we're going to bring ear towards the shoulder. Come back to center 2 more times. Ear towards the shoulder, opposite shoulder hugging down. Even think about, can the armpit hug down towards the hips? And now this last time as the ears with the shoulder, can we wiggle the tiniest? Yes. Maybe we wiggle the tiniest no. Somewhere in there probably feels really helpful. Can we breathe and hold this position for 1 more breath? And then slowly start to come back to center. Good. Now what we're working with here is the vagus nerve and our fascia. Let's get into the other side. We're going to take the shoulder, roll it up, and really hug it down, almost like the armpit is also trying to hug down towards the hips. And then bring the opposite ear towards the shoulder. Come back to center. Ear towards the shoulder. Back to center. This last round, if you'd like a little more intensity, a little deeper of a stretch, think about wiggling the chin just a little bit. Yes. Just a little bit. No. Emphasizing wherever it feels most helpful with 1 full breath. Good. Slowly returning to center. We did quite a bit with our neck and our shoulders. If you'd like to, I invite you to use your hands. So touch is also very grounding. So I invite you to kind of move your fingertips above your eyebrows and then just so softly start to massage and move the tissue up the forehead towards the hairline. And we'll do this about 5 more times. It doesn't take a whole lot of pressure, but we're stimulating those nerves, the vagus nerve, kind of massaging the soft tissue. All right, with the fingertips up at the hairline, can we so softly start to bring them down towards the ears? Maybe 3 more times here. And then stress has a lot of us having TMJ or grinding our teeth at night. So if you'd like to grab your little 2-piece fingers And we're going to bring one finger on each side of the ear, and we're gently going to massage up, stretch down, massage up, stretch down. Self-touch like this can really help our nervous system. It helps release the stiffness and the fascia. It's really therapeutic for us. And then what about the other side? Just one finger in front, one finger in back, and we're just using a pressure that feels helpful to kind of move the tissue up, move the tissue down. Good. All right. Now come to center, and I invite you to just extend some gratitude to yourself for making it here today, or even watching the replay. It took, I'm sure, a lot of steps to get here. Like, not only did you have to somehow find me online, or maybe a friend sent you my information, then you had to register for the class, you had to, get your computer, your phone set up, you had to carve out time to be here or to watch the replay. And in today's world, it's so easy to be critical, to be hard on ourselves, to be judgmental. I really invite you to welcome in appreciation for yourself. You can even maybe place your hands on your chest. You can extend your body gratitude, extend your mind gratitude, extend your whole self gratitude. And maybe there's even something else that's a big deal that you did recently. Can you give yourself kudos and credit for that? And then maybe we can move the tissue in a soft circle. And then other direction. All right. Sometimes when we're really stressed, anxious, depressed, our mind is focused on something that's not right. So instead, can we give ourselves a focus that feels really helpful and supportive for ourselves? So if you think about the rest of today, or maybe even the rest of the week, think about something you'd like to be feeling more of. So maybe it's courage or bravery. Maybe you'd like to experience a little more grace and kindness. Maybe you'd like to have more balanced energy or harmony in our relationships. Maybe you'd like to start tapping into lightness, playfulness, curiosity, joy. If you could think of one word, one feeling, one energy that could really help support you for the rest of today, the rest of the week, call in that word for yourself. You can even ask your body, ask your heart, body, heart, what do I want more of? And see what comes. And then we're going to do a little tapping in exercise where it's like we scoop up that word or that energy and we tap it into our heart. Scoop it in and tap it in. If we want it all, we could even say a different word over and over again. But when we do choose one word, when we do choose one focus, it's really easier to align with that. A few more rounds, tapping it in, tapping it in, tapping it in. And then, there's probably other people in the world that could use that too. So now that we've tapped it in, can we kind of spread it out? Can we kind of spread that energy out into the world? Spread that word, spread that feeling, send it to someone else who you know that might need it. Send it to a stranger, to your pets, to your plants. Send it wherever it feels good. Good. And then take a moment to pause and notice what that kind of somatic, energetic practice is like. Now, I know we're coming up on time, and there's one more thing that I think is really important that I would love to share with you. So sometimes when we're dealing with stress and a dysregulated nervous system, we either focus solely on the outside world and what's going on in the outside world, that we almost forget about what's going on inside, or we get hyper vigilant about what's going on inside and we kind of forget about the outside world. And that's where a lot of like friction can come in with relationships, because it's just one-sided. We're meant to like have a relationship with life. And so a practice we can do to start balancing that out is inhaling. Notice what's going on inside your body. And then exhale. Notice what's going on outside of your body. Inhale, notice what's going on inside your body. Exhale, notice what's going on outside. Look around a couple more times. And then I would invite you to kind of note what practice was most helpful today. Which one of all the things we did was most helpful? And maybe you write it down on a piece of paper, you text it to yourself, you make some type of note of it so that you can come back to it. You know, I'm really passionate about these community care classes because, one, I think these resources are really accessible, and I would just like to see more love, kindness, community out in the world. And so this is one way that I just love to give back to people. But two, when we come together in community, we realize like, oh my gosh, it's not just me going through these things. Like, most of the world is going through really serious things right now. And we're not alone. And when we come together to heal and grow in community, the impact is even bigger than we could even imagine. So as we create more peace, love, acceptance within our own body, it's not going to just change us, it's going to change every relationship that we have in a good way. And when we come together, that intention just spreads even further, even faster. So I do have about 1 or 2 spots left for somatic therapy clients. If you're interested in going even deeper in this work, feel free to reach out to me. I'm sure you know my email address, info@ericafaith.com, and my website, www.ericafaith.com. I'm going to stop the recording now and open it up to questions and answers. So if you have any questions or if you'd like to share what was most helpful for you, I'd love to hear about it. All right, thank you so much for being here.